How's it going, everyone? It's Adam from Assemblage. I'm back with part 3 of the wine subscription box unboxing videos. I know it's been a little bit since I released part 2, but life's been crazy with everything, so finally getting back to creating some content, shooting this video, shooting a couple more videos, but then I've got some pretty big life changes happening. Moving down to the Atlanta area from Indiana. So there'll probably be a little bit of time where, no new content's coming out, or, I'm really gonna try and bulk up the next little bit before I get moved so I can keep releasing stuff, all that good stuff. So, just really excited to do this third part of the unboxing series. I'm also going to be letting you know which subscription box is most worth the money, or at least the first month, which one is the most worth it. So with that being said, let's get into the unboxing and let's see what this third box is all about. And in case I haven't mentioned it before, the third box is Firstleaf. So we've already done Wink, we've already done Bright Cellars, and now the third one is Firstleaf. So let's get to it and let's see what's in the box. So with the third box, it is definitely the biggest box. It has 6 wines in there. Nice printing on the box. Let's see what this third box is all about. So right off the top, it doesn't look like there is any printouts or anything like that, but we'll kind of see what we got in here and go from there. So looks like this first wine that they have is Watchful Maker, a bold red wine from California. This is Loudspeaker California Merlot, and this third one is looks like it might be French. Yes, it is a Grenache Blanc from France. And underneath, it looks like we've got 2 more whites. We've got something from Sicily, a 2020 Vermintino from Sicily, which I'm excited to try. This 2020 Spanish wine. And it looks like another Watchful Maker. This is the California Cab, whereas the other one was a red blend. So you take out the wine, you've got a Firstleaf envelope here. You've got some printouts here. You've got kind of this nice printout. I don't know that this might just be like a generic thing. Yeah, this is just more of a generic thing. So let's see what's inside this envelope, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so the wines, as you can see, are back there. I'm gonna get those cold in just a moment, but I'm gonna see what is in this envelope. And it looks like here are wine cards. So got a card for the Loudspeaker Merlot from California, 2020. We've got the Spanish White, 2020 White from Spain. The next is the Grenache Blanc 2020 from France. The next one is the Schema Vermintino from Sicily. This is a real nice picture of Sicily on the back here. And then we've got the Watchful Maker Cabernet Sauvignon 2018 from Columbia Valley, Washington. And then the Watchful Maker Bold Red wine from Columbia Valley, Washington. So interesting, because it's 2 of the same wines, or 2 of the same producers, 2 different wines. One is 100% Cabernet, and the other one is a bold red wine. So we'll see. Oh, it's a blend of Cabernet, Malbec, and Merlot, which is pretty nice. And then nice little card, a little welcome card that basically talks about your perks with Firstleaf, and how you can get some discounts, things like that. So and then, like I said, there's just this little welcome kind of paper, where they talk about how they support some charities, things like that. So I'm gonna get these wines chilled and the reds down to cellar temperature, and we'll be back to taste through them, see how these 6 wines stack up against the other 4 from Wink and 4 from Bright Cellars. All right, so now the wines are chilled, the reds are down to cellar temperature, and before we taste it, I know that I've been doing the videos of the tests. I forgot to record the test, but from what I remember, I believe this test was, in my opinion, the most relevant to your wine preferences. They actually asked about certain producers, they asked about certain grape varietals, certain regions, food preferences that made a little bit more sense than, say, the other tests. They asked about like sweetness levels in wine. So based on the test, I have a really good feeling about these 6 wines, more so than the other ones, because it would ask, you know, like, what beverages do you drink, or what candy do you eat? Questions like that typically worry me a little bit as far as when you're buying wine, because those, to me, those things don't really correlate. Whereas this, they asked about certain producers, whether you like them, whether you don't like them. So I'm hoping that with all those, you know, questions being answered, it's going to leave us some really great wines. So we're going to start with the Vermintino, and then we're going to do the Grenache Blanc, and then we're going to go to the Spanish white wine. Just based on these cards, the Vermintino is the lightest in body as per this rating scale. And then the next 2 have a 3, and the Vermintino has a 2. But the sweetness in the white Spanish wine is higher as per the cards. So that's kind of my reasoning for this. So let's get started with the Vermintino. All right, so now that the wines are poured, we are going to start with the Vermintino. As per this card, there's notes of guava, melon, citrus blossom. You know, it's relatively low in alcohol, about 11.9%. Body is rated 2, acidity 3, sweetness 2, and fruit 1. So let's give it a smell. Let's see what we think. I'm definitely picking up on those melon, citrus aromas, a little bit of tropical fruit. I personally get a little bit of underripe pineapple on the palate. For me, it's a very fruit-forward wine. Nice amount of acidity. It's definitely, you can feel it kind of in your cheeks and a little bit on the back of your tongue. I think it's a great wine to kind of start your meal, start your night off with. There's a little bit more residual sugar than I kind of was expecting, but overall it is a dry wine. Maybe just those fruit notes, kind of tropical lychee, you know, pineapple, guava, like it said, is kind of making it perceived a little bit sweeter than it actually is. But overall, really nice wine. I love Vermintino as a grape. It's typically a lighter bodied wine, and is a great way to kind of start your night off. Or if you're starting with bubbles, which is typically like I like to start my night, this would be a great next step, or a second bottle. So second, we're gonna go with the Grenache Blanc from France. So this, it says the body is a 3, acidity is a 2, sweetness 3, and fruit 3 as well. This seems a little bit less tropical, a little bit more of a French style of wine. So the notes: white flowers, pear, and lime. So a little bit more on like the citrus side, a little bit more of like the apple pear side, which is kind of the more style that I look for in white wine. I don't love overly tropical wines. And so let's give this a smell and a taste. This has been rated 90 points with the prior vintage, but this is a new vintage. So like I said, 2020. All 3 of these whites are 2020 vintage, if I haven't said that before. So on the nose, it's definitely a lot less aromatic than the first wine. I definitely get more of like apple notes, pear, maybe more of like a lime peel or lime essence, not necessarily like the pulp. This wine is really nice. It's interesting that the sweetness is technically higher as per the sheet than the Vermintino. I definitely don't get as much residual sugar. I get, slightly less acidity than the Vermintino, but as far as the sweetness goes, and like I said, it could just be the perceived sweetness from the fruit characteristics of the first one. I definitely don't pick up as much sugar in this. I prefer the Grenache Blanc over the Vermintino, just because of it has a little bit more body, it has a little bit more of those apple and citrus notes that I typically prefer over the tropical fruits and things like that. So the Grenache Blanc, really nice. I really enjoy the weight and the texture of the wine. I prefer the more of the apple pear notes as opposed to the more stone fruit and tropical fruit of the Vermentino. So third is from Spain. Again, 2020 vintage. The grape varietal is Airen, Airen. Haven't heard too much about this grape, so I'm really excited to kind of see what it's all about. For the sheet, it says body 3, acidity 2, sweetness 2, fruit 2. And the notes are a lot of red apple, pear, and banana. Banana is typically not a overly desired characteristic in white wine. So it's interesting that they're throwing it in there. And so, yeah, let's just see kind of what this wine's all about. Just slightly ripe banana note. So they're not wrong. I do get kind of the apple, the pear. Don't get as much citrus in this wine as the last wine. I definitely stick with more of the apple and pear. The banana characteristic is kind of more of a background note now. I got it initially, but again, that could also just be because, they've said it's on there, or they've said that it's in there. On the palate, this is probably my least favorite of the three. The acidity is just not quite there for me. The fruit's a little subdued. I think it's just a little bit lacking in flavor and lacking in complexity. It could be better as it warms up a little bit. It's probably at about 46, 47 degrees right now. On the palate, it's just a little bit flat. So if I had to rate the first three wines, the Grenache Blanc will be my favorite. Next would be the Vermentino. And third would be the Spanish Airen. So let's kind of transition. Let's get into the reds, and we'll see you in a minute. All right, so switching gears, we are on to the red wines. First, we're going to do the Loudspeaker Merlot. So body 3, acidity 1, sweetness 3, tannin 2. So it is the sweetest, but it is the lightest in body. Typically Merlot is, a lighter but more jammy style of wine than say like a Cabernet or a Cabernet blend. Notes, it says black cherry, cloves, and blackberry. So let's give it a smell, give it a taste. You'll notice too, like on these cards, it gives them the like gold medal, silver medal. I'm not really sure who is rating this. It doesn't say, like on the Cabernet, it says 90 points. It doesn't say who's giving them 90 points. It just says 90 points. So it could be like an interior rating system. It could be a wine, like enthusiast, wine spectator, something like that. I doubt it. Typically with those, you kind of, they'll throw in whoever rated it too. So we'll see how they stack up. So first, the Merlot. I will say right off the bat, Merlot is not my go-to grape varietal. It's a little bit more jammy and purple than I typically like my red wines. And by purple, I mean you just get a little bit more purple fruit. And also by looking at it, it almost looks purple in the glass. You're not gonna be able to see this, but by kind of tilting your glass to the side and looking at it over a white piece of paper or a white background, you'll notice it's very purple. It's just kind of a characteristic of Merlot. So give it a smell. Definitely get those cherries. I would say it's more on the red cherry side. And instead of blackberries, I would say red raspberries. To me, it's smelling more red than black fruit. I definitely don't get the cloves or warm baking spices, really. Maybe slightly like a cinnamon characteristic, but cloves is a pretty distinct smell. I'm not picking that up on the first couple smells. On the palate, it is definitely Merlot. It's jammy. It's very like purple fruit. Definitely getting some red fruit as well with some raspberries. It's not sweet, but it has kind of an interesting balance of like sweetness and acidity that is kind of like really making my mouth salivate and water. It tastes like California Merlot. So if you like California Merlot, you'll probably love this wine. It does have a little bit too much sweetness for me. And I think they could have amped up some of the oak usage in this wine just to kind of balance some of that fruitiness out and bring in some secondary notes to the wine, because it's a little bit fruit forward for me. So again, the Loudspeaker Merlot, not my favorite red, but it's good Merlot if you like Merlot. So second, we're gonna go for the Watchful Maker Red Wine Blend, which is 50% Cab, 46% Malbec, and 4% Merlot. So the next two wines are this Watchful Maker. So first we're gonna do the Red Blend, and then we'll do the Cabernet Sauvignon, which looks like it's 100% Cabernet. So the first wine, like I said, blend. It's in Columbia Valley, Washington. They're known for making some really high quality wines. The card, it says body is a 4, acidity 2, sweetness 2, and tannin 3. And then the notes, it says blackcurrant, cherry, and oak. So I'm definitely getting some of those currant characteristics. Definitely getting more of the cherry than the currant. Not overly oaky, so if they do on the on the nose, is a little bit more oak forward than the palate. If they do use oak, they might use used oak, or they might use just a small amount as oak aged, because it's not overly oak forward. Overall, the wine has a nice body to it. On the palate, definitely more fruit forward than anything. Really nice red blend, something I would expect from Washington. Not my favorite wine, but definitely better than the Merlot. I think they've done a perfect job balancing out the Cabernet, the Malbec, and a little bit of Merlot to kind of achieve this really nice wine that will go with, so many foods. You could definitely go big and bold with the food. You could also get away with something like pizza, big and bold meaning like a beef stew, grilled lamb, something like that would be nice. But you could also pair it down with, like I said, pizza, or like a pasta with red sauce would be nice. So yeah, overall, a really nice red blend. It says right here it's a $13 bottle of wine, if you remember, with Firstleaf. So, for $13, it'd be hard to find something that is, better in quality than this. So, I would probably put it more at about a $20 bottle. So, could be worth the money if you join Firstleaf. The last wine is the Watchful Maker Cabernet from Columbia Valley, Washington. This has received 90 points and a gold and a silver medal. Again, not sure who is rating it, but kind of an interesting little note that they have on there. So, and I think I forgot to mention the Merlot is a 2020 vintage, and then the two Watchful Maker are 2018. So a couple years of age, but they're still relatively new. This here has body 4, acidity 1, sweetness 2, tannin 3. So it looks like the only real change between the red blend and the Cabernet is a little bit less acidity in the Cabernet. As far as notes go, it says blackcurrant, blackberry, and mocha. So I'm expecting it to be a little bit bolder than the last wine. And I definitely pick up more black fruit in this. I still pick up a lot of red fruit too, but I do get like some blackberry. I still get some like black cherry. I get raspberry. I don't pick up an overly mocha note, which is typically like a coffee or chocolate note to the wine. I don't pick that up off the top. I do pick up more of the mocha on the palate though. It has kind of a chocolatey characteristic to it, but not an artificial chocolate. Kind of, it tastes like this wine was really well made. Honestly, a really good Cabernet from Washington. It's not as big as bold as California, which I prefer. I'm not a big California Cab fan. So I think for the price, again, $13.33, as if you're a member for Firstleaf. So you're really not going to be able to pick up a cab for even this price or cheaper. So I think for the 2 reds and 2 of the whites, so 4 of the 6 wines were really nice. I would definitely drink those again, or I will drink the rest of the bottle. The Merlot and the Spanish white really were not my favorites. I might see if someone else wants those. But the other 4 were fantastic. I think that this box really hit some high marks. I believe that the second one, the second box, which was the Bright Cellars, I think I prefer those wines a little bit more, but still really fantastic box. And, I think that this would be a really worthwhile box to subscribe to. And yeah, really fantastic wines. Thank you so much for watching part 3 of this wine subscription box unboxing videos. We are going to be putting together hopefully some mystery boxes for some friends of mine. I've got some wine that I need to give away or get rid of before we move. So hopefully I'll be putting some of those together and giving those away. I am also doing a collab with Vin Fresh in the next video. My friend Michael, he's got a couple wineries. He sent me a mystery box, so I'm going to be unboxing that, going to be checking that out. So I'm going to be unboxing that, and there will be a giveaway included with that, which I'll hit you up with next time in the next video. Stay tuned for that. That should be coming out in the next couple weeks or so. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, comment, tag a friend. Anything that you feel like will help, and we appreciate it. Cheers, and have a great week.